there's a few famous questions about Chanuka that everyone talks about, and hopefully you're familiar with the question. Even if you're not familiar with the question, then maybe we should close it up. Close the rest of the wall. If you're not 100% familiar with the question, it would still be good to get familiar with the question, right? Like everyone knows, there's the most famous question of Chanuka, which some people claim is one of the most famous questions in Yiddishkeit, is the question of they had enough oil to last for one day, and they lit it and it lasted for 8 days. So therefore, we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. The famous question is, should be 7 days. The first day seemingly is not a miracle because they had enough oil for that day. That's like the Velt's kasha. This kasha is brought down in the Beis Yosef, and there's many different roots given. That's not what the shir is about, but just you should know different famous questions, famous things that are always discussed by Chanukkah. There's a number of answers given to that. One answer is that they separated the 8 days. They separated the first day's oil into 8 pieces. So at least they would have something to light every day. That's some people say. Another answer is that the first day is to celebrate the wars. First day is to celebrate the battle, and the next 7 days is to celebrate the Nes of Chanukkah. There are those who want to answer that even every time oil lights, we should celebrate, right? There's a famous story in the Gemara that someone didn't have oil, so she lit vinegar candles for Shabbos. She lit candles of vinegar, and it lit. And the Gemara says like this: Misha Amar l'shemen sheyadlik, the one who told the oil to light, whatever, to vinegar sheyadlik. You could tell the vinegar to light, because the idea is that every time anything lights, every time we have oil light, it's also a miracle. The whole nes, the whole teva is a miracle. So there's nothing wrong with us celebrating a miracle for the fact that it lit, even though it's normal for it to light. That's how some people want to answer the question. But anyways, the one answer is a little bit more connected to us, and that answer really brings up another question. And the question is like this. And was anybody here on Sunday when Rabbi Iron spoke? You were here? So he said it over from the Maral. He said it very clearly. The Maral asked 2 questions. One question is like this. If you look in the Siddur, you'll see by Al Nisim, what do we say? We talk about Al Nisim, Al Gvuras, Al Truas, Al Machamas, right? The wars, the Nisim that happened, the Gvuras, the fact that we won. Rabbi Yamatim, Tmen B'yat Tahirim, Hashem B'yat Tzadikim, Zenim B'yat Atzkosh Zacha, Hashem Got Kosh HaMecha, Namkus Shua Gedola, right? It was a salvation for Klal Yisrael. They won the wars, they won the battle, and they were saved on some level, right? And then it says that they set up Hanukkah, they lit the oil, they lit the menorahs, and they set up Hanukkah. And the question is that if you look in Al Nisim, the focus seems to be on the battles, the victory, the war, the fact that Rabbi Yamatim. It doesn't really talk about Hanukkah at all. And on the flip side, if you look in the Gemara says, "My Hanukkah, what's Hanukkah?" Which means what was the Nes? Rashi explains. Why did they set up Hanukkah? Is a Nes Kavua. The Gemara says, "Tana Rabbanan, K'shenichnasu Yevanim lahechel." When the Yevanim came to Hechel, Timu Kol Hashmanim shebehechel, they were matama all the oil. When the Malchus won the battle, they searched and they only found one cup of oil, one container of oil, that was stamped with the seal of the Kohen Gadol, and there was only enough in there to light for 1 day. Not a nes, there was a nes and it lit for 8 days. The next year they designated it as a Yom Tov V'Halavayda. So what was the Halavayda for? The Nes Shemen. What? No.
Would they have had a holiday if they hadn't won the battle?
That's what it sounds like from this Gemara. That's exactly what we're saying.
But we have other instances. You just pointed out the one of Chani Bendoza. We don't have a holiday because of
Part of the
vinegar.
question. What?
We don't have a holiday because of vinegar.
And the second question that the Maral asks is, normally when a miracle happens, we don't set up a holiday. So there's two questions on this Gemara. Number one, this Gemara is mashma. You're going with questions, but the Gemara sounds very clearly that the nace of the miracle of the candles was what they set up Hanukkah for, not the miracle of the wars. It's very clearly mashma from the Gemara. Because the only thing the Gemara talks about is Nes Kavu, and the Gemara talks about they have found one thing of oil and they lit it. And it lasted for 8 days, and the next year they set up Hanukkah. So it's very clear, not on the battle. But in Al Anisim, all we talk about is the battle. We don't even mention the nace that they lit for 8 days. So which one is it? It sounds almost like a contradiction. Which is the main nace, number one. Number two, the Maral asks, we don't find that we make a Yom Tov for a nace. And the Maral explains there's other times of Shem Nisim. There's lots of Nisim that happened. In the times of Beis HaMikdash, what's very interesting, in the times of Beis HaMikdash, there's lots of Nisim. First of all, fire came down from Shemayim sometimes. Second of all, the smoke went up in a straight line. The meat never spoiled. Right? There's 10 Nisim that happened all the times in the first Beis HaMikdash. Didn't happen. The second Beis HaMikdash, not only that, but what's interesting is like this. I found this to be so interesting that the Ner Maravi stayed lit the entire time of Shem Tzaddik. It was always lit. That means that this nace happened all the time. This nace of something lighting longer than it should have happened for years. From years and years and years, there was a miracle of candles lighting longer than they should have. So what was so special about this nace? So we sort of have a number of questions over here, just to recap. Question number one is, the Gemara's mashma that the Yom Tov was kavu on the nace of the Neris. What's interesting is that when we say Al Anisim, we don't even mention the nace of the Neris, and we mention the nace of the war, which seems more of something to make a Yom Tov. Why is the Gemara saying that the nace of Hanukkah is because of the Neris? Number one. Number two is, it's not normal to make a miracle, to make a Yom Tov for miracles. Lots of miracles happened to Klal Yisrael, and we didn't make Yom Tovim for those. And number three is, this miracle is an old miracle. It happened all the time. It's not such a special miracle. So why did Hashem even? Why did they make such a to-do about it? It was a miracle that they were used to. It wasn't that long before in the days of Shem Tzad that the miracle happened constantly. The Bnei Yeshua has another question, and the Bnei Yeshua is bothered with another question, which is, there's something called Tuma Hutra B'Tzibur. And you never heard of that? That means that if everybody's Tameh and all the oil is Tameh, then you're allowed to be, Tuma is Hutra B'Tzibur. You're allowed to be matir the Tuma and light with it anyways. So Bnei Yeshua says, why do they need the nace? They could have used Tameh oil. There would have been no problem if they lit the menorah from Tameh oil. So Bnei Yeshua is bothered, why couldn't they just light the menorah from Tameh oil? Why did they have to have a nace? So this question, I want to go with the answer, it's a similar answer to the Maral and others, but we'll go with how Reb Chaim Shmulevitz explains it. Explains it with a beautiful pshat. He says like this. And the way he asks the question is a little different than the Maral. He asks the question, he says, okay, we made a Yom Tov, but what's a bigger nace? The nace that we won the war, that we were saved? That's what the Yom Tov should be, not a little, some light lit for a little bit longer. Big deal. So he brings a few analogies, a few parallels, a few places that we find other similar things that happen. And from there he wants to build a very interesting idea. So he asks a question like this. When Yosef was sold down to Mitzrayim, a few weeks ago's Parsha, Yosef was sold down to Mitzrayim. So the pasuk says like this: V'hinei orchas Yishmaelim ba mi-Gilad. There was a group of Ishmaelim coming from Gilad. Ugmaleim noisem noiches v'tzari v'light, and their camels were carrying noiches or noches v'tzari v'light. They were taking that down to Mitzrayim. Right? And the question is, one second, and the Medrash says, normally when Arabs traveled, when they had a caravan, the caravans were carrying skins and like petroleum tar, which smelled terrible. Look what Hashem set up for that tzaddik at that time. He had sakim, these bags full of beautiful smells. The wind would bring it and take away the smell of the Arabs. And that he had a nice pleasant smell instead of smelling the terrible smells. So he asks, let's imagine the situation. It happened all in a flash. Everything was going great. Yosef was living at home. Life was good, right? He was Talmud Chacham, everything, right? All of a sudden, his brothers sell him, throw him into a pit, sell him down to Mitzrayim. It all happened fast, quick. And at this time, how do you think Yosef was feeling? Where's he going? He's going down to Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim was the worst place. Mem Tesh Shari Tumah was the worst place in the world. It was also a place that no slave ever got out of. He had no hope. He seemingly had no hope of ever being saved. And he gets thrown into this darkness, this deep darkness. Does it really make a difference if on the trip down it smelled good or it smelled bad? Like, did that matter?
Not exactly top thing on his mind at the moment.
Yeah, like the whole thing, right? So he wants to like this. What's Pshat? What was Pshat in the miracle of the beautiful smell? So he wants to like this. The Pshat's like this. In a time of darkness, in a time of Choshech and Afela, when it seems like our whole worlds are being destroyed, what would happen to Yosef? He could get depressed. He could fall. And he could feel Hashem is forgetting about me. Like he closed his eyes from me. I'm lost. Forgot them. At a time like this, Hashem comes along and sends him a remez. Sends him a little sign. And the sign tells him, that's not the case. I'm still with you. You're still under my watch. Don't give up. Don't give up your strength. It's a tough time, but I'm still here. Take this little remembrance. It's like a father sends down, is losing his son, and he gives him a little ring or a little something to wear, to hold on to. Take this down. Don't forget about me. I'm here. I'm watching you. I didn't forget about you. And that's what Hashem is saying. I'm going down with you to Mitzrayim. The smell of the Besamim was like a shine of light in the darkness, which opens up a door of hope that he'll one day come back to be raised up again. He says, he brings down a pasuk, and Rashi explains over there, by Yoina, that he said al pasuk, and Rashi explains, when I saw that you kept me alive this long, I knew that it was going to be a time where I'll come back to the Beis HaMikdash. So we see from this that the point of the nace was not that he shouldn't have the smell only, but the point of the nace was that he should get this message that Hashem is still with him, Hashem still loves him. We find also by David HaMelech, he says also, Pili Plim, by the story of David HaMelech and Goliath. It's an interesting story. The pasuk says like this. The pasuk in Shmuel. The Yachas HaPlishti, he hit the Plishti, he hit Goliath, Al Metzcha on his forehead, right? The Titba Evan B'Metzcha, and it went into his head. The Yipa upon of Artzan, he fell down forward. Forward, backwards, right? What's the difference which way he fell? And Rashi says, he really should have fallen backwards. Normal would be to fall backwards. If you get hit over here, normal is you fall backwards. Hashem didn't want to trouble David to have to walk to cut off his head, because afterwards he chopped off his head. He wanted to make it easier. David's standing over here, he's over there, fell forwards instead of backwards.
And he's big.
He was big, right? Well, let's see how big he was. David gained the walk of 12 and a half feet, which is about 12 and a half amos, which is about 25 feet, about 30 seconds, right? Whatever, right? It's not very far.
He also fell at David's feet, which is a statement
that's not what Rashi says.
He fell forward so he wouldn't have to walk. It means he fell at David's feet.
I don't know if he fell mamish at his foot, like he landed right in front of his foot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it says that. It doesn't say he fell right in front of him. It says he fell forward instead of backwards. That means he gained the walk of the length of him twice. Right? Because he fell forward, so he's 6 feet closer instead of 6 feet back. 6 amos back. This is a Pella. He says, we know that the Gemara says Hashem doesn't like to make nisim for no reason. The Seder Bereshis Hashem likes to keep. As much as possible, everything has to go normal. So, why would Hashem make a change over here? Normally when a person gets hit on the forehead, they fall backwards, he fell forwards. In order that what? David should not have to walk a few extra steps. Remember, this was like the salvation of the whole Klal Yisrael at this time. This was a tremendous, tremendous sakana on the whole Klal Yisrael. And David HaMelech came and saved the whole Klal Yisrael in the middle of a huge nace, because the whole story in itself was a tremendous nace. Right? In the middle of a huge nace comes a little nace. For what purpose? What's the purpose of this nace? This is another story with Avram. Let's maybe leave that one now. She says like this. What's the point of making a little tiny nace in the middle of such a big nace? He wants to say like this. He wants to give a mashal. And the mashal is like this. Case where there's a family heirloom, there's a family diamond. Everyone in the family is connected. This is like the family thing. And the diamond gets lost. And the whole family now, the whole entire family is in a matzav of, they feel bad, they're unhappy. They're looking for them, there's a tremendous, terrible feeling in the family. All of a sudden, one of the children finds a diamond. So, everybody feels relieved, happy, they found their diamond. The father goes over to the child and gives him a kiss on the forehead. He says, the child is happy for two reasons. Number one, he's happy just like everyone else, because they found the diamond. Number two, the child's happy because he got a kiss from his father. His father's happy with him, so he is extra happy. So he says the same thing over here. The same thing is true over here. By the nace of the killing of Goliath, that was a Kiddush Hashem Gadol. It was a Yeshua for the whole of Klal Yisrael, for David too. David was also at threat, also in a sakana. So he had a tremendous happiness that Goliath died. But at the same time, David got a personal nace, which was a neshika. That was like the kiss on the forehead from the father. He gets two things. He gets the big nace and he gets the kiss on the forehead. Now was that David felt that Goliath fell forward. And even though that's not chashuv itself, but it's chashuv because it's a kiss from Hashem. That's chashuv. The fact that it's a kiss from Hashem gives it chashivas. I'm sorry, because it's not chashuv at all, even though it's not chashuv at all, but the fact that it's a kiss from Hashem, that's what gives it chashivas. And he wants to say like this, the less the nace is, here's the cool idea, ready? The less the nace is necessary, yeah, the more it's a kiss. The less the nace is necessary, the more it's a kiss. He explains it more in detail. He gives one more example. and then we'll get back into why the less it's necessary, the more it's a kiss. So it's like this. He finds amazing examples. By Basya, the daughter of Paro, she stuck out her hand, right? She saved Moshe Rabbeinu. But then Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't drink from anybody over there. So she had to find someone to drink. So Miriam said, I'll take it to her mother, took it to Yocheved, and she paid Yocheved. Right? She says, take this child, and let her nurse for me, and I'll pay. And the Gemara and the Medrash says like this: not only did tzaddikim get their children back, right? I'll pay you for it, right? It's cool, right? Not only do I get it, but you even pay me for it, right? I'll tell you an interesting story that happened to me. I used to work as a mashgiach. I don't know if anyone is familiar with that. I used to go to a place called Princeton University. Those who heard of it.
Yeah.
No one knows about that?
Yeah, I heard of
that. I must have mentioned it. I never mentioned that.
You were a mashgiach?
Morty, free tuition?
Princeton University. I want to tell you something. Princeton University. I learned a lot that's very much related to Chanuka when I went to Princeton University. But it is a terrible place. You can't imagine. It's a whole different discussion. But Chanuka is for 8 nights. They used to have every single weekend. Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. Every single weekend. 3 nights. Partying. Disgusting like you can't. Unbelievable. I learned a lot about...
and you were the mashgiach for the party?
I was not the mashgiach for the party. I was the mashgiach in a Jewish place, which was actually a very nice place, but the rest of the place, which is right next to it, unbelievable. You learn about... This is what they talk about when they talk about the Yevonim and the knowledge and the culture. And if you look in the universities, you see what the universities are all about. It's a different discussion.
Well, it's not all the university.
Princeton University is #1 university. It's tied with Harvard and Yale. Number
right,
one university in the entire North
the whole
America.
university. You saw some.
No, I saw huge parts of the university.
Where is Princeton?
I was there. The Ein Raisi. I sat down with guys. Yeah, in Princeton?
He was the provost when you were there.
The Ein Raisi. I sat down with the guy and I said to him, I was schmoozing with him. Okay, we're getting off topic of it. No, it's very negay from Hanukkah, you should know. Because the Yevonim, this is Judaism versus what's it called, Yevonis. I sat down, Hellenism. I sat down next to a guy, I was schmoozing with a guy, non-Jew, and I asked him, schmoozing about something. He tells me this year is a very busy year. So I say, let me hear. So he says, Mondays I have 1 hour of class. Tuesdays I have 4 hours of class. Wednesday I have 1 hour of class, and Thursday I have 3 hours of class. That was his busy year. I said, wow. I was in Lakewood. Lakewood is 40 minutes from Princeton. I used to go there. I wasn't the mashgiach full time. I used to go there Friday and Shabbos, once a month. Friday and Shabbos. I'd stay there for Shabbos. They had a nice place for us. I used to sometimes take a friend. It was amazing. We had a great time. No, the front people there were very nice. It was very, very nice. But anyways, he says...
That's my point, yeah.
The front people were nice. I'm not saying there's nothing to take from it. I'm sure there were some people who were into other things, but the majority of the place, I mean, you see the signs, the art centers, the culture centers. I mean, I was there. I saw it. Anyways, different discussion. Anyways, while I was a mashgiach there, so one time I got called up by the head of the kashrus. He asked me if I could be a mashgiach in a certain restaurant from a place, and the guy was usually like the mashgiach to me himself, and they just had someone going in. He asked me if I could watch for one night. So I said fine. He says, yeah, you can eat whatever you want. So I said, fine. I had a friend I didn't want to go by myself, sit in the restaurant for 3 hours. He asked me to do him a favor. So it was my friend's birthday. So I told him, you know what, I'll go, and I'll take you out to eat for your birthday. But as long as you sit there with me the whole time, right? So he said, fine. So I took him out to eat. So I figured mine was free, my meal was free. I figured I'll pay for his meal, and the money I make, I'll pay for his meal. I never even discussed with him how much he was paying me. Anyways, we leave the place, and he says, okay, I have to pay you. So I said, okay, but I took the meal. He says, take the meal for free, and I'll still pay you. So, he gives me so I got a free meal. I took my friend out for supper, and he gave me $60. Oh. So it's the same idea over here, right? I was happy to do it, and still he paid me, right? So she wants her child back. I was just trying to say a story to illustrate the point. Got all on a side tangent. But the idea is that she wanted her child back, and yet we still pay. That's tzaddikim. Not only do they get back, not only get what they're supposed to want, but they also get paid. What does she need to get paid for? Who cares if she got paid? How much do you think she got paid anyways? Like, with such a significant thing that has to be mentioned, that has to be brought up. Same idea. It's a ha'aras panim, it's a sign from Hashem, it's a kiss from Hashem. And he wants to say like this: the more necessary it is, when you give your child a present, so there's different levels of presents, right? But you don't usually say to a child, I have a present for you, here's a bagel. Or here's chicken and rice for supper tonight. That's hechrachis, that's things that he needs. So normally, the more deserving a child is of a present, of a kiss, of something extra, it has to be the less necessary it is, the more it is as a proof of love. Understand that point? Right? Even if you get your son a car, let's say, he really sort of needs a car. Now, okay, you could do without it, but a car is somewhat necessary, right? But if in the car you get him some fancy, stereo that he mamish doesn't need at all, there's no purpose to it except for pleasure, except for a present. So what's a bigger sign of love? The car that costs $20,000 maybe, or the stereo that costs $150? Sometimes the stereo is a bigger sign of love than the car. Because although the car might be an amazing present, it's worth so much, but it's necessary. Right? If you ever try buying your wife a car, it's time for a new car. Try telling her it's your birthday present. It doesn't work.
I did that once.
Did it work?
I gave it to her as an anniversary.
Did it work?
Vacuum
It
cleaner.
doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But if you get her a car and you get her a DVD player in the car for $150, because the kids will be quiet in the back, or if you get her sliding doors or whatever, something special, then it's a present. But it's not the car that's the present. It's the sliding doors. The idea is the less necessary it is. What? The idea is the less necessary it is, the more of a raya it is of the love. And that's what happened by Yosef when he went down to Mitzrayim. That's the pleasant smell. And that's what happened to David and Goliath. He got a small present. It wasn't necessary. Fakert, if it would be necessary, then it wouldn't be a raya anymore. There has to be no point. It has to be less necessary. And that's the idea of after the battle, after the tremendous battle, the tremendous nitzachon, the tremendous battle that they had, but that was necessary, because Klal Yisrael would have come to an end if not for that. They fought, but Hashem had to save them. He was up against the wall. What's he going to do? Not save them? You can't not save them. There'd be no more Klal Yisrael, so he had to save them. So therefore the saving them wasn't a sign of the love of Hashem. And that's what the candle was. The candle was the neshika. The extra 8 days, that was the neshika. That was the kiss from Hashem to show them, I love you. To show them the tremendous love, the tremendous chiba. And it made them feel a little bit like the days of Shimon HaTzadik were back. It wasn't the Nes. The Nes, they knew Nisim. They knew for the years of Shimon HaTzadik. For years and years and years, the Nemaravi never went out. This wasn't a pellet to them. Wow. Oil lit 8 days. Big deal. They were in the Beis HaMikdash. Things happened all the time that were Nisi. They lived with Nisi. This wasn't something that was a pellet to them. But what it was a raya of the love of Hashem. It showed them that I love you. Not only am I going to save you, but I'm also going to give you something special. I'm going to put you back to the days of Shimon HaTzadik, at least temporarily. And that's the answer also. Tumah Hutcha B'tzibur, as the Bnei Yeshua asks. Tumah Hutcha B'tzibur wasn't necessary. What's the point? So Bnei Yeshua answers, the Ikra Nes Nasa El Leidia Lem Chibas Hamakom. The Ikra Nes is to show them the love. Like we find always Nisim happen to show them love. What was Hashem telling? What were the Yavam telling Klal Yisrael? Right, that you have no chelik but Klal Yisrael, go against everything in the Torah, and that was the Nes. The Nes was B'inyan HaNeiros. Why the Neiros specifically? So Eidus L'Yisrael Sh'Ashchina Shara B'hem. The Neiros is an Eidus for Klal Yisrael that the Shechina is there. Like the whole time of the Nemaravi, that was an edus that the Shekhinah was there. And that's why Lekach Naslam Nes Bezayin Mamish Be'oisa and Yamim to show them that they came back to the original love, like the days of Shimon HaTzadik. And that's why we light the menorah, because we light the menorah. The menorah was a sign that Hashem was with us. The menorah was a sign that Hashem loves us. Now, when we're thanking Hashem, this part I think is, I don't know where this comes from, but maybe it's true or whatever, but here's what I think, and probably heard this. When we're thanking Hashem, when we're davening to Hashem, when we're thanking Hashem, we don't thank Him for the sliding doors in the car. We thank Him for the car. When you write, your father buys you a car for $20,000 and he gives you on the seat a chocolate kiss, a little piece of chocolate. So the chocolate might be the sign of love, but you don't write him a letter and say thank you very much for the chocolate, right? Mm-hmm. You still have to write him a letter and thank him for the $20,000. So when you're thanking Hashem al anisim, val neflois, al mochamis, val truth, you thank Him for the mochamis. You thank Him for the nitzachon, for saving us. That's what we thank Him for. But what we make what we set up the Yom Tov for, what we set up the holiday, what we're commemorating is the nes, is the chiba, is the love. I'm not sure if it works at 100%, but anyways, that's the idea of the nes of Chanuka, and that's how the Maharal explains it also. Similar is that the nes of Chanuka showed them that the Milchama wasn't just, maybe they happened to win. That's how he says, a little different. Sometimes small armies win. Show them that it was the Yad Hashem that made them win. And not only that, but the fact that it happened all the times in the days of Shimon HaTzadik was showing them that they were brought back a little bit to the days of, like the days of Shimon HaTzadik, where they brought back to that original level, where they were on that level that they deserved it. It's a little bit the story of Chanuka.
My question is, do we really believe in miracles? Because we know that whatever we get, Hashem gives us.
Yeah.
So
everything's
so we don't believe in a miracle. If Hashem gives us whatever we want and whatever we deserve, so why are there any miracles?
Well, miracles are when those things are connected to Teva. Like when they go against a miracle, that's the famous thing. All Teva's miracles, because Hashem's looking out for you. He's watching you. Everything's a miracle.
Yes.
Sure, we believe in miracles. We believe everything's a miracle.
That's it.
It's just that most of them are hidden. The only time that they're revealed is sometimes when it goes against nature. If according to the laws of nature it shouldn't happen, and then it does happen, that's what we call a miracle. But the truth is, everything that happens to us is miracles. That's what we're saying. The answer, we started off, we said some people say that the first night is also a miracle. The fact that oil lights is a miracle.